Like, if you ever see, and they said it's too hard to do, and I'm like, United Center when they changed from hockey to basketball. I mean, they do that.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. So you got to listen to me the entire time today. So I thought I'd bring out this presentation. I've done this. It's been a few years, so I updated a little bit today. Some of the videos are the same, so add a couple pictures of Jablonski back there into it, just to show some more examples. But so what this is, like, the purpose of this is to kind of just point out things that some people do, that you'll see some guys do. You might see some things that you might do, and you just don't realize it. It's going to be talking about, like, what to do in certain situations, what to do, like how to dress will be part of it, part of the uniform, what to do with that. This is Q&A. Okay, feel free to ask questions as we go through. And there's some funny videos in there. At least I think they're funny. There is going to be some swearing in the videos, so just be aware of that. I apologize now, but if you don't have the swearing in it, it's not as funny. So, let's see. You already know, you've seen that before. So there's things like that. Just kind of see. I see when I umpire, and you just like you cringe when you see this stuff. We'll talk about social media a little bit. How to be a good official on social media. And then we'll talk about some as we go, like what to do, because now everybody knows that you're an umpire, right? You go to your kid's game, now you're the expert in the stands. Everybody asks you questions. Like how to handle that. Like what's the proper protocol to do? What not to do in those situations. So first one, okay. This is just some like umpire stereotypes. So if you haven't seen this guy's awesome. Hopefully the sound works.
Welcome back, kids and coaches. I'm Coach Ken Murphy, and today we're going to talk about being a home plate umpire and the proper way to call balls and strikes while you're back here. For the record, I fucking hate umpires, but I'm also the best in the world at it. I spit in an umpire's face 6 years before Robbie Alomar did it, but it didn't make news because I was just like, oh, that's just normal Kent doing normal stuff. Nothing newsworthy here. Now, if you like old Kent here, you probably spend part of your summer up in little kids' games so you can earn some extra cheese dog money. Now, it's important to learn how to effectively call a game. Otherwise, you're just going to be out here fighting parents all night long because they can't understand that their kid just sucks at baseball and most likely life. So let's go ahead and break this down from a fundamental standpoint. Now, there's a lot to know about up and home plate, but we're going to focus on the three main things. Number one, close plays at the plate. Number two, ejections. And number three, proper ring-up techniques. So let's go ahead and start with close plays at the plate. What you want to do is get yourself out here in position like this. Ball comes in, you got the play right here. First thing you're going to do is tell the catcher, say, show me the ball, show me the ball. And he's going to hold it up and be like, hey, man, I do have it. Is he out? And then that's when you just be like, safe. Every time. See how quick I did that? It's like I'm trying to throat jab two people at once. That call's always safe. Don't matter if he has the ball or not. You got to dick the catcher's mind under there. Plus, it pretty much guarantees you're going to be able to fight the coach, which is fun as hell. And that brings me to the next thing, ejections. Now, the ejection move is easy. It's just like this. See you later, shithead. But what most people miss while they're back here is who to eject. Typically, I eject both coaches by the third inning because I don't take no shit from nobody. But the thing that I've mastered that most people miss is how to eject parents. Looks like this. See you back here in your stance, and some dumb parent's going to be like, you suck, Blue. And you'll be like, no, I don't. You gone. And then you find their kid and kick that little bastard out, too. Hey, kid, get out of here. Your dad's a chode. And what that does is it sends a message to the rest of the parents to let them know to keep their fucking mouth shut while you back here being perfect. But now let's get to the final thing. The most important, that's how to ring these shitbags up here. None of that pussy strike three stuff. You got to announce it with authority. Try to show these kids up. If they argue with you, just shove them over. Who cares? They're 10. Go on, get down in your stance, and here's the only 3 ways to ring up these little kids without looking like a total pussy. Number 1 is the punch out, like this. Ha! Get out of here, you little accident. The silencer. Ah! Get out of here, you little shitbag. And my personal favorite, the cash register. Looks like this. 3. Ah! He gone. And that's basically it, kids. Make sure you take time between innings to lean up on the fence and talk to babes. Until next time, bye!
All right, so any takeaways from that? A lot of this stuff probably runs through your mind, especially the parent part, or throwing the coaches out, or and a lot of people too. Like you go watch like a rec little league, you see maybe like way tamed down versions of this, but like people that think this, like when I first started, like I had my hat on backwards. I wouldn't, before I started growing a beard, I wouldn't shave before the game because I thought that's what you're supposed to look like. Until I got told I was stupid, to do that. So, so the proper uniform is the first part we're gonna jump into. So, make sure if everybody's seen this. So anybody knows, FEB legend himself, Phil Pillow, is in that picture. Okay. So remember, this is where Phil started, right? He'll show you. He anytime he presents, he asks me for this picture so I can send it to him. So this is not what FEB does, right? So you can't show up to your game looking like this. Even though it'd be awesome to not wear heather gray pants in the summertime when it's 100 degrees out. Okay. So you go from this. The other thing is the pants itself. Like this is why you buy pants from a supplier. Okay. The pants from the plate pants from the supplier don't have a seam up the middle of your ass. Like it's saddle stitch. So you can't rip your pants. Like really, I guess say never say never, but it's hard to rip the pants down the middle. So another reason, like I started off, I bought my pants at Walmart for my first 4 seasons probably, and they would change color and they didn't look right, and I just found a pair of pants that said Heather Gray on them, and I got them. So we all start there, but you end up like this, right? That happens. So the first thing you go to your games is just the way you dress is going to it's going to get you through the first couple innings most of the time. Just because you look the part. Looking the part will help out. My son played, baseball, travel-ish baseball the last couple summers, and just the look of the official. Like if you had anybody show up, like Tim worked one of my games, right, and called my son out at the plate when he's clear safe, but just because he was dressed professionally, it's like I can't do anything. He actually came to me at the fence. He goes, "Was that your kid I just called out?" So, but like I would wait to see an FEB guy because we had another association sign my son's home games, and you just never knew what you're going to get, right? And you like cringed, and we'll get into what to do as a parent later or as a fan later. But if a guy would show up, had the gear on, looked good. I think one place we actually had a JDB guy. And just that look shows that you're serious about what you're doing, right? You're taking it. You're trying to be professional. If you're professional at your job, people will give you the beginning benefit of the doubt of being professional with you, right? You can screw it up real easy, right? With the way you call the game or the way you act on the field. But walk on. That's why we shine our shoes. Even though we take 3 steps in the middle of summer, your shoes are full of dirt, right? At the end of the game, you clean them off. Go working a doubleheader. So you clean your shoes off in between games, like just for that initial fooling of them. I used to love. I didn't actually like wearing them, but I just love the look of the old Jerry Davis. Jerry Davis used to make these patent leather shoes or boots, really, that were like 20 pounds a piece, and they were awful, but they were so shiny. Like people, oh wow, look at your. I would get comments about how shiny your shoes are. And then they figured out your strike zone for the first couple of minutes, So, guys talk about, it can be expensive. Guys talk about pressing your pants and taking stuff to the dry cleaners. I never take my stuff to the dry cleaners. You can care for the stuff yourself. You really can. all the pants are permanent presses. You don't have to press your pants, but just keep them nice, right? You know, put them in the dryer. I don't dry my umpire pants. I put them in the wash as soon as they're done. I hang them up to dry, you know, to make sure they're not wrinkled. You know, when they're dry the next morning, fold them up, put them on a hanger, put them in the back of, you know, put it in the back of the truck. Right? Shirts the same way. Just make sure they're not wrinkled. I hang everything up in the back of my car. You'll see that. Most of the veteran guys do that. Make sure I keep my stuff in my garage. And I get home at the end of a game, hang it all up in my garage. I go home for lunch at work, so I grab it at lunch, put it in my truck, and get, you know, so it's there for the afternoon. If you're going to keep your stuff in the car all the time, make sure you get a garment bag. They sell them at you know, any store, any regular store, Walmart, anywhere, and put your stuff in there, right? But it's going to be in there for a long time. I have 2 bags. There's one for my pants, one for my shirts and jackets, and just keep it out of the sun. You can notice if you have 2 umpires stand next to each other, one that, you know, just even like years of jackets, you can almost tell like by what shade of brown the black jacket is, how old it is. You know, it's like rings on a tree. You can see how faded it gets. Pants, I don't know. I haven't seen a pink pair of pants in a while. The supply, but the pants, the old Heather gray pants used to turn pink. You get a pink hue on them. You'll notice even just wearing them, how much darker the pants are where your belt is versus on the rest of the pants. So those are things that you be wary of as you go. I wear Jerry Davis pants. Those are the ones I wear for all my games. They don't fade as bad as some of the other ones do. But just your personal preference on what you do, what you get there. But just care for your stuff. Get a bag to put it in, or have some kind of organizational system that fits the vehicle you drive. It'll make a big difference to get through a game, because worst thing can happen is you get to the game and you're missing something. Okay, because I went to a game. Probably shouldn't say this on video, but I went to a game. It was at Guilford High School, like 3-4 years ago. I got there like an hour and 10 minutes before the game. I was plenty of time. I'm sitting there reading emails on my phone. About half hour before the game, or half hour, 45 minutes before the game, my partner's not even there yet. Go back to check something in make sure I have something in my bag, or check, do something. Look at my back seat, and none of my uniforms are there. Nothing. Like, I have nothing. So I drove home. I went up to the field, told, hey, I'm going to be late. My partner had been there at that point. He's going to take the plate, and I'll come in. And I got there like bottom of the first inning. So I've done that. I also did that at Belvedere North High School, which I can see from my house, so it didn't matter. But like, make sure you have that routine, like what you do, and just have a system to remember everything. Your bag itself, I've never had an umpire bag necessarily. I've always, I used to have a big hockey goalie bag. Then I had I actually bought a suitcase, like a bigger 30-inch suitcase, and it fits my stuff pretty well in there now. But again, have extra stuff, equipment-wise. Have an extra indicator, have extra shoelace. I think Ed Hayes talked about that when he was here last week. Your shoe, they will break, be the worst time. And if you don't have extra shoelaces, you're screwed. So make sure you get extra laces just to have in there just in case, because they'll break at the worst time. Make sure if you have a partner that you're matching your partner. Okay. Black is now the default color for FPV. Okay. So what that means for you is, if you're working with a partner, okay, if Tim and I are working a game together, and we can't decide what shirt we're going to wear, right? The default to fall back on is black. That's a change from years past. It was always navy before, right? Navy was the default uniform, but we made a switch this year, okay? So if I show up with a only navy, okay, and Scott shows up with only black, I'm the one out of uniform. We have just a navy shirt. So new guys buying stuff, get a black jacket, get a black shirt. Beginning of the season. Okay, that's what you'll need to start off. So we're making that transition. We just made that transition this year. So you don't have a black jacket, I would get one this coming season. If you don't have a black shirt, I would get one for this upcoming season. if you're going to buy, or you rotate into the summer, okay, the second shirts, if you're going to buy a second shirt, get a polo blue or Carolina blue shirts with a black collar. Okay, that's the most preferred shirt for the summertime. Most guys will wear that. So when it's 100 degrees, you want to wear black. That's the most popular second shirt. Okay, so if you start off, wear black. I wear black the whole high school season. I don't wear anything else. Even if it gets hot out, I just wear. It doesn't get that hot anyway until June. And then you'll see guys in the postseason. You could argue, but when we made the change, guys are saying I just say this and that. I just say policy is you match your partner. Okay. Until the postseason. Postseason, you're required to wear Navy still. Okay. But that is for you're working a regional. That's for either 3 or 4 games. Okay. Then you move up. Then it's sectionals is another 3. Supers of 1 game. You only work like max of like 10 or 11 games if you go all the way downstate. So if you're at that point in your career, you've been umpiring for a while. You should probably buy a Navy shirt at that point. But up until then, black is the basic. That's what you should have in your car with you at every game. Okay. Make sure your uniform fits. Okay. It's always a daunting day when you go to try your clothes on for the first time. Don't make it be your first game. It takes a while to get stuff. Okay. So make sure you try this stuff on. Adjust your chest protector. Make sure it fits correctly. You shouldn't have a gap here. Okay. It should almost be uncomfortable to stand with your chest protector. It should be up on your throat. Okay. Worst thing is to get hit in the throat. I've had it happen a few times in my career. It does not feel good. So adjust your equipment correctly. Wear it correctly. Make sure there's videos out there now, YouTube videos everywhere on how to do stuff. But it should be up tight up here. Then when you go down your stance, it'll loosen up on your neck. It should almost be uncomfortable on you. Make sure your mask is adjusted correctly. You have to adjust your equipment as the year goes on. Your chest protector will start, so some of the straps will start to slide. Make sure it fits tight every time. Your mask, if you're wearing a traditional mask, it should be loose enough that if you look down at the ground with it on, you will fit 2 fingers between your chin and the mask itself. Okay? That way, it's made to the ball hits it and goes flying off your ear. Like when I wore a traditional mask, whenever I got hit, the mask would either be on my ear, okay, behind me, okay, or fall in my hands after I got hit. That's when you know your neck's not absorbing that blow. It's your mask and your pads are absorbing that blow. Okay. I wear a hockey style mask. I made that transition 3 or 4 years ago now. So that's a little different. I have mine's was a Force 3 mask. It has the hinges in it. I love it, but the few times I actually get hit in the mask throughout the year, it just pings off. You don't even feel it. They make a traditional mask with that as well. I highly recommend those. There's a lot of good engineering behind them. So if you're going to market for new masks, the Force 3 is a good brand to look at. Pants-wise, I really tell guys to shy away from combo pants. Right? I haven't had a pair in years, but they're just not. They look bad. They're too tight on your legs when you're on the plate on your shin guards, and they're too loose on the bases. So if you're going to start off, you're working all games by yourself, get a pair of plate pants. Okay. As the game day tours and stuff, and you start getting you see partners on your schedule, then get a few games in and get a pair of base pants to go along. I don't know if anybody else has had good experiences with combo pants, but when I ever bought them, it was just a waste of money, to be honest with you. So that's it on you. Anybody else have anything on uniforms? Some of the vet guys, any questions on any of this stuff? Make sure you have the jacket. I think one of the best say the wording here, best innovations in umpire gear in the last 10 years is the thermal jacket. It's the best thing in the world. It's waterproof. It's warm. That's the only jacket I really wear throughout the season. I just adjust what I wear underneath. Okay. When it's beginning of the season, I wear every piece of clothing I own underneath it. And by the end of the year, sometimes it's just a t-shirt underneath it. Just it works that way, right? I don't ever wear a jacket behind the plate. This is my personal preference. This will be the 8th season where I don't do it. Just because I get warm back there. You get up and move, and you don't notice how cold you are. Or get a good set of Under Armour or whatever brand of cold gear. You get 1 or 2 of them. Just buy a black one. I wear black with whatever shirt I wear, or whatever. I guess whatever shirt I wear, I just wear black underneath it. Get it. I have black and white ones, so sometimes I wear both of them because it's that cold out there. Decide if you're going to wear 1 ball bag or 2. That's a preference thing. I always wear 2. But if you wear 2, wear 2 every game. So don't buy 2 and only wear 2 some of the time, because then they'll fade and they'll be different colors, right? To get black ball bags, don't try to do anything else with it. I only own black ball bags now. Don't worry about getting navy. Should match your shoes, right? I would say, or it should match your ball bag should match your shoes, right? If you want to get fancy and get a navy ball bags, wear navy ball bags anytime you wear a navy hat. Okay, firing a fashion show, and if you're new and just forget anything I'm talking about, just get black stuff. But as you go, you'll get to see some of that stuff. Yes, sir.
Talking about matching with your partner, you said you don't wear the coat behind the plate. Did your partner wear it?
So different. So here's a frame of reference for that, right? If I'm wearing a black short sleeve shirt, on the plate, my base guy can wear a short sleeve shirt or a jacket, or they have convertible jackets, some kind of jacket, right? Okay. If I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, he has to wear a jacket. Okay. The long sleeve shirts are pleat shirts, only wear behind the plate. If I'm wearing a jacket, he's got to wear a jacket, right? So the base guy should be greater than or equal to the plate guy. Okay. I shouldn't have a jacket behind the plate. My base guy's got a short sleeve shirt. Okay. Either he's got to sweat a little bit, or I got to man up. Those are 2 options. That's what looks the best when you're out there. Okay. Yes, sir.
I started many years ago. All the belts were like patent leather black. I've noticed there's a lot of matte black out there. Is that something you should match with as well?
I wouldn't worry too much about that, to be honest with you. Patent leather was the big thing, and then it's kind of gone away. Like, it comes in phases, but
it'll come back.
Yeah, I mean, it's still there for some people, so it's up to you. Shoe-wise, make sure you have plate shoes. Okay, don't get a broken toe. This is going to interrupt your season. It hurts. It hurts when you wear plate shoes, when you get a pitch that goes right off the end of your toe, even with the steel toes. Like, you should get plate shoes. That should be a good first investment for you. I know it's hard sometimes. Guys have wide feet and stuff that it's hard to find them, but they're out there. New Balance makes them. Heard good things about. There's a New Balance store. It used to be one in Crystal Lake, but if you know where a New Balance store is, they can order them for you, in different sizes than what you can get on the suppliers. So I know the New Balance shoes themselves are kind of narrow. I don't have wide feet, so it doesn't bother me. But I've heard that from guys. So if you have things like that, let them know. Make sure you have a FED patch on your shirt. Don't put it on your jacket. You don't have to do that. If it's any shirts that you have, put the FED patch on. Make sure it's either if you're not going to put it on there permanently, don't use those patch latch things anymore. Those are no longer approved. They look like crap. They weigh on your pocket. Okay, you can get Velcro. I've seen guys with Velcro. I've seen guys with carpet tape, whatever it is. Put that on there. We did endorse those at one point. They really don't look good. When you really see them, it doesn't look right. So make sure the appearance is the first thing. So make sure you do that. Hat wise, get the FEB hat, the black hat with the white lettering or the cream lettering, whatever it is on there. There's also a black hat with light blue lettering on it. Don't worry about that. That's optional. Don't get that right away. Come out. I would recommend getting a 6-stitch hat. Okay, hats come in 4, 6, and 8 stitch. Okay, if you want behind the plate, wear a 4-stitch. You can. I used to. If you just want to buy one hat to start, you spend enough money when you start off. Get a 6. It's short enough that it gives you a little bit extra behind the plate to help you out get the mask off until you perfect that. And then 8 stitch on the bases. You know, if you're just gonna get a base hat, you're getting 2 hats, get a 4 and an 8. You just want to get 1 hat, get a 6. Okay. You can wear an 8 behind the plate too. It works. It's just a little harder, a little more advanced to get the mask on. Yes, sir.
The black and gold. The gold.
Yeah, that's purchase officials didn't quite make it right, so they're going to redo some of those. So it should be, it's like creamish gold, like they're a little bit off, but it should be the traditional one, not the blue. You don't have to get the ones with the blue lettering. If you work softball, there's also an FUB hat with navy with blue on it. Only get that if you work softball. That goes with the navy type shirts, the light blue shirts. Good questions. Anything else? Don't be afraid to ask. Get a pair of gloves for the bases. I struggle on the plate with those. If you ever been to if you go to like a Dick's Sporting Goods, they sell winter golf gloves. Okay, so you're going to try to go on the plate and wear those. Some of the days, like you gotta have something, right? They're grippy enough on the hands that you can actually swing a golf club with them. I've done it, so they're good for if you want to actually wear them behind the plate and handle the baseballs and stuff. When I'm on the bases, I wear the same gloves I still have my driveway with. So get some just black, mostly black.
One had enough for the season, or did they fade, get dirty pretty quickly?
Depends on how many games you work. Like really, that I would usually my usual rotation of hats is I buy a hat every spring at the clinic, and then I wear it for the whole year. But I'm on the plate. I don't wear a plate hat because I have a hockey mask, so it's not. I don't need it. My base hat doesn't get worn out that much. You don't sweat as much and stuff. But you'll see those sometimes they'll get wet and they'll shrink a little bit. So you just kind of look at it and clean it up after the game. It should last you a whole season. It'll be a problem.
I see guys with numbers. Are those assigned or what's
Yeah, if you want a number, let me know. I can the numbers out, but we have like 600 guys now, so there's a lot of double ups. But stay away from number 9. That's Collis's number. Stay away from number 6. That's my number. I won't give you a number 6 because that's my number. But any other numbers, whatever. But then it's optional too. You don't have to do that. You can buy a shirt and later put the numbers on too. So it's not something that needs to be done right away.
Is this money extra?
No.
Quentin's got a question.
Yes.
What about indicators?
I use the same indicator I've always used. I have a four wheel, they're called, the stainless steel one that you hold it in the sun, it blinds you. It's just what I've always used. I got hit in the hand a couple years ago and it broke and wheels barely spin anymore, and I still use the same one. I bought a new one and it's still in my bag. Find one that you like, one you have preference with. I tried to do the 3-wheel where it only goes to like ball 3 and goes back to 0, and I'd screw it up all the time. So I was not smart enough for that kind of one, I guess. But it's something you can try. So it's all preference on that. Make sure it's in your left hand, okay? And that left hand takes your mask off too. So figure out how to practice that at home. Put your hat on, put your mask on, hold your indicator, and try to take your mask off without taking your hat with it. It's harder than it looks. Okay, don't do that. I mean, I did for the first who knows how many years where right hand off, switch over to left. Okay, well, I was a catcher, so that's how I did it. So yeah, but you're not a catcher. So, okay, you got the left. This is sometimes you got to take it off quick and make a call right away, and you're got a mask in your right hand. Or you're trying to make a call with your right hand. So get in the habit, left hand, mask off, and go. Throat guards, you can use those if you want. Those are optional. Last time I had a throat guard on mine, the ball hit the throat guard, and the throat guard jammed in my neck. So I stopped wearing a throat guard because it pissed me off all the time. But I'd probably wear one. It'd probably be smarter. But my hockey mask is kind of extended. So, but if you have your chest protector up in the proper position, that ball's not going to hit you in the throat. So make sure you get that. Yes, sir.
Just a comment on throat protectors. If you do get one, make sure you invest in a good one because I've seen them break on guys.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
They make some that are like the same material as your mask. The bars, not iron bars, but bars or whatever. Make sure it's long enough too that it swings like mine. I had the short one that swung up and hit me in the neck. So it should swing and hit with a chest protector. I just always thought, like, and all the times I've ever got actually hit in the throat with a ball, it's off a ball and then the dirt that comes up underneath. So like it never like I don't think a throat guard would help me on any of those. I had one fouled off the catcher's shoulder that popped up with the throat guard. All the times I ever did, the throat guard was there and I missed it. So, but it's up to you. It's probably safer to have more protective equipment than others. I know some guys wear protection on their forearms and stuff. I think positioning will save you from most of that stuff. That's the one thing about officiating baseball versus officiating any other sport, right? There's always a risk that you're going to get hit, right? I worked a game, varsity game. It was at Rockford East High School probably 4 or 5 years ago. They had a really good catcher, right? I've seen this kid, 10, 15 times over his career as a senior at that point. He started as a freshman, as a catcher. He has a sore back that day. So I get there and he's on the bench. It's like, it said to him, "What are you doing?" The guy that's out there is a left-handed catcher, right? So that's already I'm screwed up because the ball's not getting caught in the right place and it's reaching different places. Well, about the third inning, I've said it's a right-handed batter. His glove is on the outside corner, right hand. They're throwing their stud pitcher. He throws probably low to mid 80s somewhere in there. Fastball right in the inside corner. Ball comes here, glove goes there, and hits me square in the cup. It's like, what the hell, right? Thought they have a nutty buddy, right? If you don't have a nutty buddy, Google it. It's the best investment you'll ever make, right? Get a brew. I was able to catch my breath and then go back into the game, right? And go. But anything like that, the worst ones are you always get oohs and ahs when you hit the nuts or hitting the cow, hitting the gear. Like when it hits the plastic, they say, "Oh, you're all right," or you hitting the mask. The worst ones are one that hits the skin, right? The ones that hit you in the thigh, or hit you in the forearm, or hit you in the hand, or hit you in the wrist. The worst hits I've ever got were a lot of them are it hits the bat, like nicks off the batter, and then hits you, and nobody even cares about you because the batter got hit, but I got blown up, So but you got to be ready for that. It's part of the game, like it's part of it, right? So now you just got blown up by a pitch, right? Catcher, a lot of times the catcher will miss it, or who the hell knows what they're doing? They're lazy. They just wave at it because nobody's on base, and then it comes up and hits you. You got to regroup quickly and go, and they don't give you any wiggle room. So you got to be good right away again. Like you can't lose anything. Your hands throbbing, or you're gonna end up with a bruise that's the size of a beach ball on your thigh. Like it's part of it, but it's part of the mental aspect of it, right? So you have a routine and stuff. So when that stuff happens, you can fall back into it. Yes, sir.
They always offer you an ice pack too.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do with the ice pack?
Yeah. Maybe at your games, they don't like me. They don't give me anything.
Most of the time, they don't even notice it. Your forearm.
Yeah.
A lot of times, it's your forearm. It has to be a really good coach to realize you just got hit by the ball.
Yeah. My usual is, God damn it, and I turn around and shake off, and then the coach goes, the good catchers will go out and give you a second. They'll go out to the pitcher. The good coaches will yell at the catcher, go out and talk to the pitcher. But you got to regroup. You got to go, right? And that's why, if you get a good catcher, it makes your day a lot easier. So it really you could have a good pitcher and a terrible catcher. You could have a long day. You get a good catcher, you can make a bad pitcher look good. Any other questions? All right, so now we'll go into this is more of a how to handle a situation, right? It's hard to kind of see what this is. But this is Wally Backman. There used to be a show on some channel years ago where he's coaching like a low-level minor league, not affiliated type team. Okay, you're going to see an ejection at the beginning of this, and then you're just going to kind of see how things are handled by the umpires, and we'll kind of critique towards the end of this.
Getting off goes out toward the pickup number 7, Doc. Brooks. Doc.
No, not yet, not yet,
That's the
because
first one
he's
I'm talking about.
ninth hitter. He's the ninth hitter right now. Doc. Atta babe. What the fuck is going on?
Hey, get your hands off me.
He never even fucking said anything.
Yeah,
He never said a fucking word to you. Fuck, you got a shiver on your fucking shoulder. You are a fucking bullshit.
No.
God damn it, you've had a horse shit so.
All right, so now, like to that point, right? What could he have done differently? Okay. What did he do well? Okay. And how could he handle that situation? Right. Just up to that point, right? I'm not going to show the rest of it. He throws crap onto the field and goes crazy and stuff, but like just the ejection part of that, like what could he have done, to escalate the situation, de-escalate the situation? The batter was saying stuff to him, at some point wasn't thinking, his friend, like what could he have done differently? Like how could you handle that situation so it doesn't blow up to something like this?
Warned him.
Warn him how? Like what would you say to him?
Okay, that's enough. No more. Get back in the box. Or go take your mask off, go talk to the coach real quick. Okay, had enough.
Hey, we're not talking balls and strikes.
Okay.
Or you know better than talk balls and strikes. Just
So wait, so you just said you said the same thing, but you said it two different ways. Which one's one of those? The first way you said it was perfect. Okay. The second way though is confrontation. There's a fine line, right? So then better than doing that. Now you're demeaning, right? So the simple phrasing like that makes a huge difference, right? So you say we're not going to talk balls. We're not going to talk about balls and strikes, right? Okay. Instead of saying instead of getting a pissing match with them, right? That's going to incite him, right? You're going to ask could it say not going to necessarily have to, but just be careful. Tim, we were going to say
I would
something.
say depending on the level that these are adults, but assuming these are high school kids, I would say the warning loud enough that the third base coach can hear that you're addressing it. But then hopefully the coach calls time and pulls the kid out of the box and says, "Hey, listen, knock it off." Yep. That way the coach can.
Also to help with the confrontation with the coach, because at that point he comes out because he feels like nothing happened, and all of a sudden it happened. Is that even if you don't take your mask off, if you say something, you want to be verbally loud enough. Even if you're not loud enough, you should give some physical gesture, give the stop sign, give something. So now the coach realizes there's something going on that you are talking to the batter, even if he can't hear it. He sees that something's going on, that you're being emphatic with a physical gesture to let them know something's going on as well.
Okay. The only thing is you be careful with that, right? Like if he's in proximity with you, sometimes it's, you know what I mean? But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like you try to let everybody know what's going on, right? That's why I like if you take your mask, like if it turns into something that could lead to an ejection, like having your mask off shows that something's going on. And that shows, batters themselves, like you won't get much in high school. Like you really won't. Like they get lippy in their teenagers, but like it's not like those huge situations you see on YouTube, like you see on the news, like a lot of those don't happen, right? But it's how you address it. Like if he says something like, if he's like, I'm stern with players, right? It's okay to be stern with it. If he, like this, he goes, that pitch is down. It's like, hey, knock it off. We're not, knock it off. We're not talking about balls and strikes. And I address it. We don't keep going until some kind of acknowledgement, or he stops and he just gets back in the box. A lot of times, if that happens, sometimes I get apologies, like instantly, oh, sorry, like those things. Sometimes they can't control themselves, right? But just be careful. Like anytime you're in a confrontation with any player or anybody on the field, is to either like kind of talk down to them or try to, not saying like you would have said something like, trying not picking on you, but like just be careful like how you address, you know what I mean? Be passive in those things. Like being stern with the kid, because that's what it might just snap them out of it, right? Okay, catchers, sometimes they'll be, most of the time they're trying to get on your good side, but they might ask you where pitches are, but if it keeps going, say, hey, that's enough. We're not going to do that. Or hey, they catch a pitch and hold it. They hold it on you. Hey, saw it. It's enough. Don't do that. It's just simple, quick things like that. But yes, but if it turns into something where it's like leading down the road of an ejection, high school wise, the coach is your best friend in that, because he doesn't want his kid to get ejected. Okay, but it shouldn't. You're not going to get a blow up like this in a game most of the time. Sometimes heat games sometimes go, but there's not many coaches out there that are going to throw tantrums on the field. Okay, what about after the ejection? So he does throw them out, right? Okay. Where do you think over there? Yes.
Just a question just before that. Talked about being stern. So he says something to you, you address it right away. Now, if he says something again, how do you say something to the coach? Because I don't think you want to just bring up a player. I don't know. So,
so
now you say, hey, this kid's giving me, talk to me, coach.
Yeah.
So that.
Zone all day.
Just,
What'd he say to you? What'd he say? He never even.
That's something you don't say. But yes.
If that's his first comment to me that says, and that pitch was down, I'm going to let it go.
Okay.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
He doesn't like my call. He disagrees. If it's continual, then we're going to put a stop to that.
Yeah.
To a point where if he continues, I'm going to say time to coach. We're not discussing balls and strikes. Now the coach knows he's not chirping about balls and strikes. The only other source is his batter.
Yep.
So you're giving the coach the opportunity to step in and protect his player before it goes any further.
Okay. Yep.
And you can do it in just a normal voice. You don't have to get all demonstrative, but coach, we're not talking balls and strikes today. And he's good. Hey, what's going on up there? Knock it off. And that'll 9 times out of 10 will diffuse the situation.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
I address it. I don't give a free pass to players. Like coaches, like if that same comment comes from the dugout, you go through the paces, ignore, acknowledge, warn, warn, restrict, eject. But like Scott, like that's fine. Like if that works for you, that's what you do. But my approach is, I'm probably more of a red ass than Scott is, but I don't listen. Like I don't let those things go, because it just drives me nuts. I mean, to be honest, it drives me crazy. So it's like I address it there and try to put an end to it. Usually, I haven't had a player ejection for balls and strikes since I still was in college at that time. So it works. Like Scott's way works. You got to find your own way, right? And it can't be screaming and yelling at somebody. It can't be throwing a kid out for the first comment. But when I do address it sternly, okay, I'm still in my routine. Catcher's still down. The batter's still in the box. He's not turning. He's not turning into a conversation. It's like, hey, knock it off. We're not doing that today. Move on.
And you're gonna run into that in the lower levels, because your strike zone got to be pretty wide, and you got to let them know. And that's the strike zone. At least strike 1 and strike 2.
Yeah.
Because you are going to get complaints from freshman kids. You are going to get a lot of them, because they're not going to like your strike zone, but you have to stick to your strike zone, because you'll never get the damn game over with.
Yep. And when you're first starting off too, calling balls and strikes is hard, right? It's hard to be consistent to begin with good pitching, right? Now you got all this randomness. You got catchers that can't catch the ball, can't hold, don't do it right. They beat balls into the ground. They let pitches right down the middle get past them. So it's hard. Like working freshman level games is tough. It'd be hard for me to go back and do it. That's because you gotta learn your level. So
You have to call strikes on pitches by rule, aren't strikes.
Yeah.
So you have to learn to disseminate.
Yep.
Is that a strike? Is it not a strike?
what's acceptable at the level? And that's high school. High school varsity, you call pitches that aren't rule book strikes. Like at every game when I used to work some D3 in junior college. You called pitches that were a ball off the plate, a strike. Like I don't know if it was at the NCAA clinic, but they actually had it came out and it was a referee magazine thing that like the actual size of the ball and all this stuff. Like here's really the acceptable strike is between the batter's box lines.
2 inches off the plate, D3 and up is acceptable for a strike.
Yep. And then you add in, it's only got to touch that 2 inches off the strike plate.
So you get
the width of the ball, that just the sliver of that ball touches that. You think about it, like that ball gets out there, and it's acceptable, and that's what they want you to call. You just think you go down levels, it gets bigger as it goes down. Strike zone's bigger. Strike zone's bigger than you think it is.
I'll let them mouth a little bit because my strike zone is bad. I mean, it is bad, at that level.
Yeah.
It is, but I mean, I'll limit it to a certain minute, and I'll talk to the coach in between innings. Hey, got to get this thing going. My strike zone's got to be a little bigger. Most of the time, the coach is right there with you. They know bad baseball when they see it.
And to be honest with you, if you miss a pitch, you're gonna take a little more shit for it. Like if you miss, because there's a lot of times you get the pitch on, it goes right down the inside corner. It's a perfect pitch for middle of thigh, and you say ball. It's gonna happen. Happens to me every year. Okay, the pitch that is two balls inside. Okay, you look catcher catches it nice, and you go up, say strike, and God damn it. Okay, you're gonna have plays in the bases where runner beats the play happens, ball beats the runner beats the ball, okay, and you're gonna come out and call them out. God damn it, as you're saying, they can't. There's no turn back, So you're gonna make those mistakes. Everybody makes those mistakes. You just gotta learn how you handle the fallout from those mistakes. Makes you a better umpire, right? That's what separates people. How you handle the fallout. And it's not, there's still talk about you can make changes on calls, but balls and strikes, you gotta live with what you got, right? And you just got, sometimes you just gotta live with it. Sometimes you gotta take shit for it. Not so much, that's it. Same thing if I completely butcher a pitch, okay? The kid goes, gives up. That was down. That was down. It's like probably not gonna say anything. Depending on, but if it's a perfect pitch at the knees and he goes, that's low, then changes the situation. So it all you gotta add everything up as you go. Okay. Yes, sir.
Major League Baseball. I mean, again, those umpires pull pitches too. I mean, like right through the zone, they call them balls, especially Angel Hernandez. But
he's one of the best balls and strike umpires in the league.
I've seen him have some really bad games, though. But nonetheless,
by whose perception, though? Okay.
The experts on, you see it's like
after every game, go to Close Call Sports and look at their numbers.
Okay,
he's one of the best ball and strike umpires in the league.
I believe it.
Don't listen to Hawk.
Bad calls. But anyway, how do you handle nonverbal or indirect complaints? I'll see a batter like in a major league game. He'll take a pitch and he'll know coach, or he'll just be sitting there shaking his head and walking back toward the dugout, get a little more just. So he's not complaining that was terrible, that was bad, but he's still trying to show up the umpire.
Always shaking his head.
Directed at you.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen it. I mean, most I've seen a major league umpire do is they get back in here.
Yeah. So, if the kid, you'll get it from the catcher more. The coach will yell, "Where was that?" And you go, and you call the strike. He goes, "Was that inside?" And the catcher's going to he's going to tell him honestly, probably most of the time, right? You just got to eat it, right?
But you get the opposite.
Oh yeah.
Is the pitch that you call a ball? What do you hear from the dugout? That's a good pitch, Alan.
Yep.
Go back to that spot.
Yep.
It's not directed.
We work hard.
Directed at you.
Yeah, we're working hard back there. Without that.
Yeah, it's a comment directed at you.
Yep, and that's your normal protocol, right? So from the dugout, right? You get sometimes they ask, like, where was they want an explanation. They're feeling me out at the beginning, right? So they want to know where the pitches are, right? I tell them one time, right? So, ball in, I have a ball inside, everything looks good from the dugout. Hey, where was that? Say, hey, I hit it inside. Okay, move on with your life, right? Okay, if now 2 pitches later they do the same thing, I just ignore them, and then you go down the line. They'll figure it out. You're not going to answer eventually, right? Now, if they ask once in the first inning and once in the third inning, probably just give them an answer. Depends how they're asking, whether they're yelling versus asking, like your rapport with the coaches, like all that stuff plays into it. But you're not there because him asking where those pitches are, might be a feeling out process, but also might be arguing balls and strikes, right? So you just gotta the tone and everything all feeds into it. But you gotta be right. You're gonna get those questions, right? Yes, sir.
So what if, let's say, just for high school, for example, player's first comments on something that's like overly. What do you do? Whether it's directed at you or not.
I don't care. Yeah, me personally, okay, my threshold for vulgar language, as you can see, the video selections I make is pretty high. Okay, I don't care if they swear. I don't care if a coach is in a conversation with me and drops an F-bomb 3 times. Like, I don't care.
Does it matter at level 2, age level?
I don't think so. Like, you're gonna get
younger kids.
You're gonna get kids that run past first base. They're out by 2 steps and go, "Fuck."
That's not everybody.
I have a hard time hearing those comments, right? It's not my problem. Now if he goes to me, he goes, "That's fucking terrible," then he's gonna get thrown out of the game.
Yeah.
If it's directed at you, it's different than just saying it. Okay? I really now I would suggest guys do the same, is have they ignore the vulgar language that's not directed at you. Okay? It's more acceptable for kids, or go to middle school, right? If I yelled at every kid that I heard swear in the hallway, that's all I would do all day long. Okay? It's part of the culture now. It's there. I swear all the time. It's hard. I'm a teacher, and it's hard for me to make it through. That's what you do. Okay?
And if it is directed towards you, is it
Then you-
automatic rejection?
Yes. Well, so let's say that. Depends what it is, right?
Yeah, like
Okay.
you, obviously.
Oh, yeah. That's anybody. They direct at you. So thresholds of ejections, right, for comments, right? Okay. I've had coaches come out, right, and call and say, "That's a fucking terrible call," right? So what? I don't care. Okay. If he comes out and goes, "You're fucking terrible," then he goes, right? It's the personalizing the comments, right? Say, now, I get it. Like, some guys, you're not going to do it, right? And the coaches, I get kids that swear and then apologize right away. Like catchers. It's a foul ball off his arm, he swears and he apologizes. Like, I'm going to swear if I get a foul ball off my arm, so you better be ready for it, right? Okay. So I would suggest just be lenient on that stuff. Don't
Be more lenient.
be more err on the side of going deaf at the moment, right? But again, if he directs something at you, then that's grounds for rejection. Automatically, at you, it's gone. But there's, you can address it. Those kinds of things. I have a hard time trying to tell 17, 18-year-olds how to talk. I've grown into that mindset. Right? Benji used to coach varsity baseball team, right? How many of your kids swore on a regular basis? It's part of their regular,
Sadly, no, it's part of the regular daily life.
yeah, they don't even think about it, right? Just how it is. And it gets younger and younger. Say, we're going to middle school, right? Hey, Tim, you're assistant principal in
Yeah,
middle
I'm an
school.
assistant principal at middle school, and I probably get sworn at every day.
There are women and children present. Please clean it up.
But see, now,
It's not worth addressing.
it's not worth addressing. It's not worth addressing. It really is not. I don't, they're coming to a baseball game, right? Coming to that. I'm a big hockey fan. I go to Rockford Ice Hogs games all the time. I was in the line, okay, they do this chuck puck thing, second intermission, right? They throw these pucks on, they try to get into the center circle to win money, right? They let they pick them all up, they let all the kids go and pick up the pucks off the ice, right? The head coach at the time, Ted Dentz, was the head coach at the time for the Ice Hogs. Something happened at the end. I'm in the tunnel with my son. He's 5, 6 years old, right? There's kids younger, kids older down in there, right? He's yelling, he's arguing with the linesman about some call that happened at the very end, right? He's dropped an F-bomb with him or whatever, okay? He goes, hey, there's kids here, right? Coach went off on him, right? F-bomb this, F-bomb that, you're just a fucking linesman, like all this stuff, right? Am I supposed to go complain now? Because my 6-year-old son has turned an F-bomb, right? Part of paying, right? Part of what they expect, right? You're watching teenagers play baseball, you're gonna get some bad language. And if you address it, you're spitting on a fire, right? It's not gonna help it, they're gonna keep doing it, okay? And then if you say, oh, that's enough, now you told them, oh, that's enough, right? Now you gotta do something about it. Now if they swear again, you paint yourself in the corner. I would highly suggest just leave it alone. It's the culture now, it's what it is. If you're worried about that, never work football. That's way worse than there. I was an umpire, and that's all I heard all day long.
I was gonna say, in all fairness, in the training videos, I just say says profanity's not acceptable. But then again, if you make a big issue out of it, you're gonna make a big issue out of it. Yep. So it's best to say that's common vernacular, that's everyday speak, it's nothing personal. Yep. Now, indoors like in basketball, see a lot of people get thrown out for
I just make it quick. Under the radar statement that, there are women and children present. And they should know that they need to clean that up. I don't sit there and say, you need to stop that because there are women and children present. There are women and children.
Yeah, I think the rules support it, but I think the common application probably doesn't.
I will stop beating that to death. Any other question? I don't remember what we were talking about, where we started here.
I just fucking start
All right. All right, so this next video, all right, you'll have this happen all the time, right? Something goofy happens in a game.
Bachman again?
Yeah, that's it. Yes. Something goofy happens in a game. You have no idea what happened. Okay. The next game, you get a question about it. Right? We had this happened. What's the call? What do you do? Right? Okay. So we're gonna watch this. This is a good video on what to do. This is an umpire that was not on that game.
All right, yeah. All right, I had it out with my buddy up in Anderson. But Tommy's a good kid. Tommy's a good kid. He's new at this level. Tommy, Tommy.
I'll tell you what happened.
I never heard the story.
This is what happened. There's a questionable call the pitch before. Brooks is hitting.
He's on the plate.
He's behind the plate. Next pitch, ball. Brooks is just standing up there. He said, "You're gone." So I come out.
Doc Brooks.
Yeah, I never said another word, but it was from the pitch before. So I run out there. I said, I just want to know what the fuck he said. I says, I'm not leaving here till you tell me what he said. He said, you can read it in my fucking report.
Absolutely not appropriate.
And I lost it.
Not appropriate.
I snapped. And I went out there and I threw the bats out in the
Not
field.
appropriate. And that's what I heard, right?
Bats
I heard bats in bucket balls. I heard,
but that ain't the first time.
That's not appropriate.
Yeah, but
that's
they,
not appropriate.
yeah.
What did he say?
I never knew. He ended up getting fined. The umpire got fined. I didn't get fined, or Doc didn't get fined. So I think they fined him $25. But
good. Wally, everyone is accountable.
Right.
Everyone is accountable. Us especially. Why?
Yep.
We're the ones who.
All right. So what is wrong with what he said?
About everything.
Okay. What you noticed about the coach's story?
Different than what happens today.
Yeah. Right. That was after a pitch of ball. It was actually the next strike that was called. Right. He didn't say anything. You could see the guy's the bat his mouth going. Right. Okay. I kind of threw off. It was part of what I was going to ask too. Like his body language, right? The umpire, he's covered his mouth. It's body language for I'm embarrassed by what I'm saying. Right. He knows he's doing it wrong. What do you think his motivation is on this? Get the coach on his side. Build himself up, right? Okay. I try to address. So if I get a here, this happens. What's the right call, right? I try to go into, I don't really know what was there. It's a rule type questions. Like, here's what the rule says, but again, I'm not at the situation. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it was, how you, how, all the particulars of the situation. Okay. You're going to get that. It's going to happen all the time, right? It's, just, you're not there to pump yourself. This is the extreme, like he's trying to pump himself up, right? By knocking the other guy down. He doesn't know what he's doing, right? So he doesn't handle this well. Like what he did was wrong. With some of the stuff he said, he did say, you asked him what he said. He said, oh, you can read my report, right? So that was obviously something. He didn't F-bomb him or whatever, but exaggeration. But you'd be surprised how much this happens, okay? Be surprised how this happens between umpire and umpire, right? Talking about situations and you pump yourself up by knocking somebody else down. Doesn't do any good. Like we try to breed the culture in FPB of rise everybody up because when I started, as an umpire, okay, the good umpire that's what separated us. Our good umpires at the beginning, okay, weren't afraid to lose their games. They weren't afraid to lose their assignments, and they brought everybody with them. Let's make everybody better, right? Okay. And I think that's the kind of attitude that we have, right? Our rival, that especially when we first started, we have over 100 schools now. But when I started, we just got our second conference, okay, or maybe third conference. So we had the Fox Valley, right? When we first started, all we had was just the Fox Valley Conference, out of 10 schools, wherever it was at that time. Okay. We added the Upstate 8s, which is Elgin area. It's all messed up now, but and then when I first started, we just got the DeKalb schools, the Western Sun Conference, it's called. DeKalb and then surrounding area, right? Okay. We took all those conferences away from the group called UMPS. Right? They were the FEB of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? Huge group, had all these schools, all these conferences. The guys were afraid to lose their games. They wanted to work certain levels, certain thing. Infighting between them, burn them down, burn them to the ground. Okay? We, as an association, want to build everybody up. We'd rather have 500 guys that are good enough to work varsity baseball, okay, and then just having 50 guys that take all the games, right? I work because of my job working in Belvedere. Part of my career before we got the Rockford schools, the Big Ten, I work because of my schedule. I can only work games like certain days in that conference because I couldn't leave work early, right? And my only option was to work games over there because they were close, right? That association, right, didn't invest in the training. Guys they were all working partners at that time, okay? And there was four groups, 4 sets of partners, and 10 schools in the conference. So there's 5 games a night, varsity level. They had 4 of them, okay? And then one group could go into that fifth. And I happen to know the assigner, so like John Vito, if you know him and I went over there and started working games, right? We work games on Fridays to start work your way up. But that's the attitude. If you have the attitude and take that and just want to raise everybody up, and I think we try to do that at least that we do. The whole profession of umpiring is better. Okay. So just remember that when you're talking about situations and stuff, don't do your best to not knock. Guys make mistakes. If you make a mistake, you gotta own up to it eventually. But you'll be so proud that you can't see that, but also try to make everybody better. That's the goal. It should be a goal with everything you do. But for FPB, that's our mantra. And anybody else like situations like this, like any real things?
When the coach comes up and says, "All right, this is what happened," and when that happens, shouldn't this happen? A lot of times what I'll say is, if that's what happened, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
But I wasn't here. I'm not. If that happened, coach, you're right. But I'm not going to say that's the truth.
Exactly. Acknowledge. You can answer his question, right?
Right.
But don't.
If he wants to know the rule and how the rule was applied, or how he thinks the rule should be applied. Yes, if that's what happened, coach, you were correct.
I've had coaches come up to me like confident in what they're going to say, and they're wrong. I tell them that they're wrong. Like, oh, really? And it was what it happened, one situation that pops in my head a lot, it was on a catcher or batter interference on a catcher, right? So it was a school from Rockford before we had Rockford schools. They had come over to, I think it was at Marion Central. It was Boylan. I think they had played Marion early in the year, like they always do. And that coach goes, yeah, the batter fell across the plate, and the ball went, threw down to second, and didn't get the runner, and they called the batter out. Why would they do that? They sent the runner back. That's what they're supposed to do. Really? No, there's no way. And later on, it's like, yeah, it's that's what you're supposed to do. It's bad. The batter, and explain it to me. I don't know how it went at their game itself, but like he was adamant. He was coming to tell me about how another crew, he knew I worked for FEB. He was going to tell me how an FEB crew screwed up a call. He was wrong. So we'll see that too. So okay, also to go along with this, like you should not be in a situation where you're having a conversation with a coach that long when you go to a game, right? This thing sucks. Okay. Don't just sit there and shoot the shit with the coach. Really try hard to. Try not to get to the field and put yourself in a position to be in a spot where you have that much time to talk to somebody, right? What I always do, like you get to a field and the team, like if the visiting team isn't there yet, right? If I'm working the plate, I'll put my shin guards on, I'll put my plate pants on, plate shoes on, and I'll sit there, okay? And I'll wait, okay? That bus rolls up, okay? Now you start stirring, getting ready to go. You see them, you start throwing, and as soon as they're just about done with warm-ups, I'll put my chest protector on, finish getting dressed, okay? As soon as they start taking infield, we head to the, okay? No matter what time it is, like what physical time it is, right? They're going to take infield. The spot you're going to get stuck is when you go up there too early, right? You want to, it's 4:30 game starts. The visiting team gets here at 4:25. You're gonna get yourself in trouble if you go up there right away. Try to get the game started at 4:30. Just be up there waiting so you can get ready to go. I recommend that as soon as the visiting team starts taking infield, that's when you can walk up there, no matter what time of game time is. Right? Because as soon as they're done, right? The only problem you might run into is that my pitcher's not ready, right? But usually they see, like, as soon as the visiting team's done with infield, you have the play conference and go, right? So maybe you can start 5 minutes early if everybody's there on time, okay? But just, those are times over the years, if I go up to the field too early, that's when you get in trouble. That's when you are talking too much, or you get hit by a thrown ball out of the infield. There's all kinds of stuff that can happen. So try not to get up there too early. Try to time yourself out there. Talking with coaches, it's okay to talk with them, get to know them. Really, if you know the coach a little bit, it's going to help you. It's going to help you in your career. It's going to help you be comfortable with the coaches, okay? But just remember, everything that you do on the field is being noticed by the fans. It's going to be noticed by the other dugout, okay? So, like, I'm working a game with Benji, right? Benji's still coaching, right? And every half inning, when Benji goes to the third base coaching box, he stops and talks to me for the whole time to warm it up, right? What's that look like to the other team? Buddies. Yep. Or really, not that we're buddies, but I'm showing favoritism, right? So just be careful with that. There's some coaches that, like, I know they've been around as long as I have, and they do that, and I really try to keep those things short, okay? And try to avoid it as much as you can. Okay. Sometimes some coaches will do it just to pull stuff up. You start picking on stuff, okay, and then it could just be bad. Like try to avoid it. Try to focus in and have a purpose between innings, counting pitches. Seeing that they're just getting ready in a routine and go. So just be careful. I know it's human nature to be friendly with people. People are friendly back to you, but Just gotta be careful, okay? Conversation with the coaches help too. So if I have to talk to somebody, right? So, batter does something goofy, or the fielder does something goofy right before, or they're doing something they're really not supposed to be doing, right? If I go talk to a coach, I'll pull my lineup card out, right? Then it looks like they're making a change. Talking to the coach about, hey, number 52 is, arguing balls is right. Can't do that, or your pitcher is close to balking. Okay, between innings, I'm talking to the coach, and I'm, looking at my lineup card and looking at him, and like looks like he's making a change. You're asking him something, but you're sending a message that way. But then it looks you're fooling people, right? So you use that to your advantage. Like pulling the lineup card out when you talk to a coach helps. Even if you don't have the lineup card, you're not doing anything with it. Okay, it's all those little things that you'll learn to pick up. But just remember, everything you do is being watched by the other team. Yes, sir.
In that example you had before, where it's 4:45 game and the bus rolls up at 4:40, do you say anything to the visiting coach? Say, coach, when you're ready, coach, let me know when you're ready. Anything?
No, because anything you say is not going to help you. It's not going to make things go faster, and it's not a perfect. Like I'm not even close enough to speak to him. Right? I'm by my car, talking to my partner or by myself. I'm just there. And I know what they got to do, right? Before they're ready, right? I don't remember the last time I actually worked a game where the team didn't take infield. They always take infield. Might be abbreviated or whatever, but there's no purpose. If it's a 4:30 game and at 4:40 nobody's there yet, maybe I'll walk up to the field and try to talk to the home coach and say, hey, you know what's going on? You get an idea of what's going on? But never, that happens. I know Jeff's ranted about it in some of his emails over the years. Like, you're going to get yourself off on the wrong foot by, like, trying to get them to go and hurry up. That's why, like, standing there, we give that perception, like, hey, hurry up, we got to go. I always tell guys, if you're going to work a game, right, okay, don't schedule anything until after dark for that night. Okay, you got to be somewhere at 7:30. Okay, don't work the game that day. Like you're there from you're responsible to be there from half an hour before the game until dark. That's what you should schedule. So I tell my wife, it's like I'll be home between 6 o'clock and dark, and that's all you can do. You're there. There's no clock. Baseball games take forever. You're responsible to be there. If you have something else going on, like don't work your game that day. Like anything you're doing before 8 o'clock, even dark. So you play till dark, and it's 7:15, and you gotta be somewhere at 8. Like it might be kind of close. So I've just never seen it go well when you try to rush somebody or even talk to them. Like you get an idea of what he needs to do, right? It's like his two objectives is to get his guys warm, get his pitcher ready, and hit infield. And that takes whatever it takes. If they're taking infield, they're taking forever. I'm there. You're going to be there anyway, right? Just let them go. Beginning of the year, you only got so much daylight, so if they want to run tryouts, then let them run tryouts. Start afterwards. Anything else on those? That's a good question because and Jeff is probably your guys for handling those questions.
The worst thing you do is talk to the coach because the coach is already pissed because he doesn't control the bus.
Yep.
He's late because the bus company didn't get him the bus he needed in time to get into the game when he wanted to be there. So
I've never worked a conference game at Marion Central that started at 4:30. Right? Not a single one. I wish it was funny, but it's not. Like everyone's supposed to start at 4:30. I've never worked a game that started at 4:30. Going in, right? If we're working at East Aurora or have East Aurora on the road, you're gonna start at 5 o'clock for a 4:30 start. Like it's just the way it is. They have trouble busing. There's bus driver shortages. There's traffic. It's living. Like it's part of the experience. You just gotta just don't. There's no reason to be in a hurry. You're just gonna get yourself worked up. You're gonna get somebody else worked up. questions? Anything else on this topic? Whatever topic we're on. All right. All right, we talked about this a little bit, but talk a little strikes a little bit. A little bit World Series
time limit, man.
Chinese time, I wonder why.
All right, so we talked about this a little bit. They used to show data. A couple of NCAA meetings I went to, they would show data for coaching evaluations, like coaches in college rate umpires, right? Okay, so they would show the coach's comments first, okay, and then the overall rating. It's a 5-point scale, right? 1's good, 5's bad, right? So it'd say, consistent strike zone was small, overall rating a 3. Okay. Okay. Next guy would be strike zone's too big. Too big for this level. Rating was a 2. Right. Okay. You're gonna make more friends by calling more strikes. You're gonna keep the game moving. You're gonna make the batter swing the bat. Right. You're gonna those games where nobody can throw a strike, nobody likes those. Nobody likes to be there. But don't go crazy like that. Pitch that's in the middle of the batter's box is not a strike. But okay, like we said before, like acceptable varsity strike zone is 2 balls off the outside corner, okay, all the way up to that batter's box line, okay, and a full ball off the plate on the inside. That's acceptable. That's what it is, right? High end is it's nipples to knees. They'd say maybe a little bit lower than that at the top end. Okay, bottom of the knees. Okay? It's a strike, right? The rule book says it's a strike, but you got to call it, right? If you don't, you're gonna hear it, right? Presentation, the catcher ability and catcher presentation of the ball matters more the higher you go. Okay, I'd say freshman level, it doesn't matter. Just where the pitches call it. Okay, move your way up. Even some better sophomore teams, better and varsity teams, catcher's got to catch it better, right? You can't, he can get the borderline strikes, right? Even in, like, I used to subscribe to the if he doesn't catch it, it's not a strike mentality, okay? But now, even now, I've adjusted to if it's right down the middle and a catcher doesn't catch it, it's still a strike, right? I've got to that point. Okay, if it's borderline and it goes to the backstop, it's usually not a strike, right? But the bigger, the better. Bert Pearson, he was my mentor going through, right? Lived down towards the Caleb. He lives in Kingston. We worked my first varsity game with him at Caleb High School. And just met going through him. Jimmy Ellison's another one, right? They have ginormous strike zones, right? Just absolutely huge strikes. Okay, they always did it. The coaches knew they did it. They wouldn't yell at Bert. They wouldn't yell at Jimmy. They'd yell at their batter for not swinging. Right? Okay. Guys come in and they're tight. Okay. They want strikes from their pitcher. Right? They're more worried about getting strikes from the pitcher than worried about their batters. Not being able to hit the ball. Right? Here on the side of east and west balls and strikes, right? Versus north and south, right? You can see from the dugout north and south, right? They know that pitch was here, right? Or they know that pitch was here, right? But from the side, they can't see if the ball was on the corner or 4 inches outside. They can't tell. You see how the catcher caught it, right? Okay. You get into some of the things where catcher set up way outside, and they reach across like this, and it's on the inside corner. Okay, you could call that a strike, okay, but nobody's gonna believe you, right? Some of that comes into play too. Okay, they're set up way inside. They reach across their body. That's a strike on the out. Touches the outside. Touches where your strike zone is on the outside corner. And you can be right or have everybody think you're right. There's two different terms there. So, but again, what we talked about before, call what's acceptable at your level. You'll find it. You'll find that spot. You work enough freshman games, you could become the best freshman ball strike guy you can. Okay? Move up to sophomores, adjust, learn that level, become the best sophomore ball strike guy you can. Okay? Move up to the next level, varsity games, be the best ball strike guy you can in the varsity game. Okay? Move to college if you're going to go there, be the best college ball strike guy that you can. Okay? The hardest part, you guys look at, the hardest part is being a good umpire at multiple levels at the same time. That's why I don't work travel games during the high school season because it'll screw me up. I'm afraid it's going to screw me up. I don't know if we're really low or not. Okay, but it's hard to adjust to be consistent and come back. Right, Tim, I know you work a lot of little kids games and you work varsity games.
Yeah.
So like, what are some tips there? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Trying to know the level that you're at the time. So it is hard. I tried in April to do a lot of travel games. It's too hard. I struggle most with the speed of the game. That's the big adjustment is that when you go out, you do 3 or 4 games and like travel tournament on a Sunday, and you do a varsity game at Prairie Ridge on a Monday, everything's happening faster. Strike zone is what it is, so we have to adjust with the actual speed of the game. All of a sudden, they drop ball, you get that way, okay, no, half the guy's there. So just being able to adjust and adjust the speed of the game.
So yeah, it's different worlds. Like working a 10U in-house game versus a varsity baseball game. It's the same game, but it's way different, right? And you just gotta know the level you're working and be the best umpire you can at that level.
The games have different cultures too. The high school game coaches is a lot different than travel because I'm mainly volunteer dad coaches and schools is best. So your management strategies are going to have to be different in a high school game.
That's one of the biggest reasons why I stopped working a lot of summer baseball, is because of that. Like you work high school games. Those coaches get the dance, right? They know how to get to a line. They know when to stop. They know when to back down. They understand it all, right? And then you go to any summer high school, summer travel ball, even with high school kids, they don't get it, right? They don't understand. So like a lot of your game management strategies get blown up because you're trying to do the dance, but they're not doing the same dance as you. So and they're not as knowledgeable. I mean, you're gonna work in freshman games. You're gonna find that guy that got that PE teaching job because he said yes to coaching the freshman baseball. Okay? It's there. You're gonna see some of those, not as much as you used to, but it's there. Okay, and they're not gonna know what they're doing. I mean, I worked a game once. It was a DeKalb freshman game. They lost to Neuqua Valley. It was 35-0. They scored all those runs in the first 4 innings and struck out on purpose in the 5th inning. And the whole pregame for the freshman team was the coach brought donuts with. They're all eating donuts in the dugout before the game. They didn't take infield. Neuqua did. They came and then they went out on the field. So like to discuss a call, pretend you're arguing with your wife, right? Right? Does it matter if you're right when you're arguing with your wife? At least with mine. Okay, maybe some of you have wives that are rational, but
My second wife or my third wife?
so, okay, you can be right, okay, or you can end the argument, right? These are your two options, right? Okay. Don't, if they come out, let them be the first to talk. Okay. I struggle with that still because you want to just explain what happened, but let them talk first, right? Let them ask you a question. Okay. One, they might be they're arguing about something you don't think they're arguing about, right? So you start defending something they don't even know you don't even know. It's like a cop pulling you over and saying, "Hey, I'm sorry I was speeding," and then, I just pulled you out because your taillight's out. I admitted to a crime that they didn't know you committed yet, right? So talk to it like you're talking to your wife, right? Calm it down and get them the hell out of there as soon as you can. Right? Get back to doing stuff you like to do. That's the biggest thing. Like when a coach comes out, let them ask a question, let them spin themselves down. Well, I have a video on that in a little bit.
You did that in the Super. Coach came out and you didn't say a word because he never asked you a question.
That's right. He came out to yell at me and he just yelled at me and I just stared at him. Walked away. So, it was awesome. I forgot. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, I forget what it was. Was it God, I don't remember what it was, but I was in the middle. I was working third base, but I was in B. I don't even remember what it was, but he came out.
And he came to Donnie and complained that you didn't talk to him.
Really? I think it was a play at second, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and he thought he was out, or he thought he was safe. I don't know, whatever it was. We thought they were different. He came out and goes, "That's terrible," and just how can you miss that call? Well, I guess that was a question, but he didn't ask a real question, and I just stood there, I remember because all these other umpires that are watching the game, so I can't screw it up. But so I'm standing there just staring at him, right, waiting for the question. Never came, and he walked away. Right? And he went and complained to Don Swanson was working the plate. Went to complain to Don because I didn't say anything to him. Don goes, "Well, did you ask him a question?" Don goes, "No." The guy coach goes, "No." He goes, "Well, that's why you didn't say anything." So it worked. I forgot that was all. It's not always that easy. But most of the time, they'll spin themselves into the ground. They'll come down to your level, okay, and then you can talk to them. Okay. Got to come up here for a second. I can talk. I could use the demonstrator. Also, when the coach comes out, right? When he comes to you, if he's hot, he's gonna come out nose to nose, right? Right. Easiest thing to do is just go like this, right? Shoulder to shoulder. If he turns, then you turn with him. This is confrontational. This is conversation, right? So thank you. So don't get nose to nose. Spin yourself around. If you're behind the plate, right? And a coach comes out, he comes out and you're facing the backstop, right? Spin him around until he's facing the backstop, right? So when they video you, they're looking from behind, they can't quote you, right? So little things like that will calm and diffuse the situation. So those little, little cues, things they really do work. Okay. All right, anything else with you dealing with coaches? There's actually a video. No, it's this one.
And they're going 2 for 4 with a double and a home run. As his average 210. Pulls this one down the line. Cayaspo bobbles it, picks it up, fires across the diamond, and safe at first. Soames is going to argue with Jerry Lane. Very close play. That should go as an error on Cayaspo. It'd be his 12th.
Yeah, it looked like the baseball got there, unless he's saying that Mark Trumbo's foot came off the base. It was pretty close.
Wow. That was a quick hook.
Well, it's unusual to see a manager get thrown out without really a whole lot of confrontation as far as the argument.
It's a one-sided conversation. Jerry Lane hasn't said a word. I mean, not one word out of the mouth of Jerry Lane.
Well, that's a difficult thing too. As a manager, you want to get your point across, and he's not even saying anything back at you. Yet you're already thrown out of the game.
So that's extreme.
Gotta be before it's replay.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'll argue about that anymore. It's a pure.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't remember how long ago that was, but.
Maybe Solskjaer didn't ask him a question.
But I think he said, a couple times he asked him, why'd you throw me out? So must have said something. He should know. He said something, got thrown out, should know. But yeah, let them calm down and ask a question. Because you can't answer a statement. It's just gonna make you look bad. It's gonna make you defensive. So just wait till ask a question. It gives you time. Like if the coach comes, if you're make a call at second base, okay, and a coach from the third base dugout comes out, okay, stay there, right? Let him come to you. Don't meet him in the middle, okay? He wants to come talk, he's got to come all the way out to you, okay? Gives you time to collect your thoughts and figure out what to say, and then have the conversation. Okay? Don't get amped up. Don't start, don't counterpoint him. He comes out, ask you about the call, give him what you got, and move on. Okay. So let's see. So that kind of goes with this. Like, if you do something stupid on the field, you're going to be on YouTube. You're on camera somewhere, right? So be real. I mean, this has been the case for 10 years at least. So just be aware of that, right? Whatever happens. Who knows what happens? But you know that it's going to be there. Like there's video evidence, everything. You have an ejection, write the ejection report with facts. Don't make things up because it's probably on video, right? You have a weird situation with a coach, confrontation. Just the facts in the report. It's going to be there. There's going to be evidence of it somewhere.
Well, a lot of schools stream their games.
Yep. Yep. So just like we're streaming this now, it's very easy to do that. A lot of schools do that. They have audio video clubs or classes where they do that kind of stuff. So be aware of it. Be aware that everything you do is going to be on TV, right? Not so much of instant replay and all that kind of stuff, but it's something weird happens to your game. You're going to see it on Facebook eventually. I know Barrington, probably 7, 8, 10 years ago, they had a guy, a parent that stands that recorded every game. You found their feed. You could find games if you were to Barrington So what does he do wrong? All right, so clearing the catcher, right? Let me come up here quick. Come on up here. Okay. I'm going to show you what to do with the catcher. Okay. His first mistake was looking up, right? Who cares where that ball goes? Let the catcher tell you where it goes, right? It does bite. Sometimes it will mess you up because the catcher doesn't know where the ball went either. I've had times where it's a fly ball to right field, but I thought it went over the backstop. I grab the ball, hand it to the catcher, and he goes into it. The pitcher and then the right fielder catches it. So that will happen, but most of the time it'll get down like a catcher, okay? We're gonna have a pop up to your left, okay? So you're gonna turn around and go get it, right? So I open up like this, like a swinging gate, right? So I read him. Okay, if he goes left, right, I spin on my right foot, open the gate up, and let him go. Okay, if he goes this way, come back down here. Well, actually, we'll turn sideways, so we can see. Okay, so you're gonna go up to the right. Okay, I spin, let him go. Right. If he turns around and comes at you, it's the same thing. Open up, just spin, let him go. Okay, if you try to dance with him, you're just gonna get in his way. Okay, that's the easiest way. Thank you, sir. That's the easiest way to miss that, right? There's not many times you actually have to see where the ball is. Like maybe a ball in the gap, right? You're on the bases, ball in the gap. The fielder's turning and running. They're going to tell you. And he's going to tell you a pretty good story. He'll tell you just about everything you didn't know. Like this situation, he looks up, and now the catcher's on him, right? So he's backpedaling, right? All you had to do, right, is just go like this. This guy runs by him, and he's fine. Right? He's not falling on his ass and that shit. Okay. So that's a trick to learn because you get a lot of guys that you're going to pop up on the infield and they're like, they watch it go up, and then you could have moved, you could have done something. They'll mess you up. All right, so and then the last one. This is a newer slide. It wasn't in there originally. The first time I did this presentation, but it's a real thing now. Okay, social media. Okay, social media is one of the best things ever invented and one of the worst things invented all at the same time. Right? It allows us to, social media allows us to live stream these things so people watch this at home. They can record it for later. The discussions. I learned more about rules and handling situations from reading umpire discussion boards. Right? That was the thing before social media became a big thing. We talked about plays. We talked about there's random guys that didn't even know. Met John Mueller for the first time through a discussion board. He was a coach at the time. He was a guy that always posted and knew his stuff and could explain things. And then he decided he posted somewhere like, "Oh, I'm going to start umpiring now." He was a coach, and then he turned into it. "Hey, what umpire association are you in?" And found out he's in Fox Valley, and that was before. I think it was before I was on the board, but a while ago. And ended up his first evaluation he had, I was the one evaluating him, so we got to know him that way. And before, back when he used to wear a hockey mask, and show his bald head off to everybody in the game, all that kind of stuff. Okay, but now all that is merged into discussion boards. Right? Facebook, our Facebook page is great 95% of the time. Okay, stupid shit on there all the time. Pointless stuff on there all the time. Okay, but the discussions you can get and listen to the guys talk is great. Okay, if you're not on there, I recommend you get on there. If you don't have a Facebook page, create a Facebook account. Don't friend anybody, but join that so you can be part of that discussion because you're gonna miss a lot. You're missing a lot by not being on there. Okay. When you post, this is for on that page or even on your own accounts. Don't post anything about where you're at, what you're doing. Okay. Don't check in at Crystal Lake Central High School saying we're going to varsity baseball game today. Okay. Because they can see check-ins. If you have to be friends with somebody, see where they check in at now. I can see this. They can see your post about Crystal Lake Central. You're the one that screwed up the game this night. But like that kind of stuff is out there. Okay. If you post a situation, okay, post your situations on page, discuss. It's great. You can learn stuff. Don't say I was at Carmel High School, and the coach did this and this and this. Okay, just post. Work in a game. You can say what level. Kind of go from there. And don't post pertinent information to stuff. Okay? Don't comment on news articles about your games that you stream. My regional, I played twice in the regional, and both times in the paper, the coach threw me under the bus. It's awesome. Okay. But I just don't do it. Right. And both times. Like one was the headline, I think. So when you're on there, okay, we've had guys in the past that got bad reputations as an umpire in front of all the people, like tons of people, but they'd never even seen him umpire. Okay, just by his presence on the FUB Facebook page. Okay, so don't try to be an expert until you are an expert, right? You know the rule on something, you find a case play, post that stuff, and go there, right? But if you're not sure, okay, don't just say, hey, this is how I would do it, all right? Or okay, our longest thread ever on the Facebook page was 365 posts. Okay. The first person that posted got the correct answer to the question. That's posted. It was a pitcher, a runner on second, pitcher lifted up, went down, and threw it to the shortstop. Okay. What's the call on that? Okay. Nothing. Ball's in play. Once he picks up, puts his foot down, he legally disengaged, then he's out. He's a fielder, doesn't have to throw, right? First answer, I think it was John Muller. Answers, this is what it is, here's the rules reference. Okay? 365 questions, comments later, we're still arguing about it. Okay? There's mostly one person that didn't use never referenced anything from the rule book, case book, anything written about the baseball rules, and just went on and on and on and on and on, and dug himself a hole. Okay? And he doesn't umpire anymore. That's where it ended up. Not because of that, but because of the attitude towards that, right? But you can learn a lot. You can become an expert on there, right? You become knowledgeable. You can learn things. You can read. Pulls you in different directions because when I first started umpiring, it was either you heard about it from somebody about a situation and heard how to handle it, or it happened to you, and you figured it out, right? Either you figure it out in the game and look it up after the game. Now we have so much video and everything else that you can learn without having to screw things up. So just be careful with it. It's one of the best inventions ever and one of the worst inventions ever, right? Okay. Well, that's it. I'll end on that. We're talking actually long enough now. But thanks for listening. Thanks for the discussion tonight. If you haven't registered for Wheaton yet, please do so as soon as you can. Bring a friend with. Trying to get that a little bigger than it is right now. We've got 3 weeks until 2 weeks. I don't know, March 9th, Saturday. Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Saturday. So if you haven't registered yet, please go on there. FUB members, it's FUB 2019 is the promo code for free registration. So, okay, thanks, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
First game of the year, down to order partner of the